Welcome back, everybody. I am the MoeChicken, and this is Radical Dreamers, and I am humbled. Since the last episode, wherein we got the bad ending, where Kid left me to die, being choked by the nefarious Lynx, Ed has informed me of a few things. Turns out, this game actually has two sort of meters that it tracks. One is your health, which is decreased from taking hits and stuff. The other is Kid's affection for you. And the reason that I died was basically that she hated me. She didn't like me enough. I was such a douche to her that she was sort of like, my prized possession that my sister gave me, or saving a human life, and just sort of let me die. And so, humbled by this, and quite disappointed, because I didn't realize I was being quite a douchebag to her. I thought I was just bantering with her. I have played back through the entire game, again, being very, very nice. As far as I know, her affection for me is very high. Also, I found out something else. The way that you check those 2 meters, because you can't actually see them in the game, but you can find out how you're doing based on the 2 things that are said after you get into a fight. So the first one relates to your HP. And based on how Serge is sort of describing his condition, that's how you know how you're doing. The second one is Kid's affection for you. So when she was saying stuff like, damn it, Serge, when are you going to, start fighting like a man? That meant that she basically hated me. And she was just like, ugh, this guy, can't he do better? So she says much nicer things when you're nicer to her. Also, I should mention, one of the biggest means through which you can damage her affection for you is making her read books in the library. So, yeah. Maybe don't do that if you play. Anyway, here we go. Hopefully we will get the good ending this time, and I won't die from strangulation. Let's find out. A countless number of candles spectacularly illuminate this huge room. An old-fashioned grandfather clock stands on the right, ticking away with a morbid stillness. I step in the center of the hall, looking upwards at the oil canvases shimmering in the low light. Okay, third one on the left, Kid says quietly. 1, 2, 3. Ha ha ha. Here we go. Clink. As Kid slowly that's more of a pull noise. Anyway, whatever. Pushes against the candlestick, it starts to move slowly. What's a push sound? I don't know. What's going on? I stammer, trying to brace myself. This entire room is slowly sinking into the ground, Maggle says. The ballroom is sinking? All of it? Suddenly, the room starts to fall much faster. Chills run down my spine as I look around, seeing the paintings smacking against the walls and the candles dropping to the floor. Not pictured here. As I start to get used to this sinking sensation, my heart fills with a violent mixture of anxiety, expectation, and hope. What awaits us at the bottom? The frozen flame. Could it really be down here? Is this our adventure's end? What if we actually take it into our hands? Kid, Maggle, I wonder what they're feeling right now. As the room continues to sink underground like an elevator to hell, I start to hear Kid speak in a soft, meek voice. Sometimes I do struggle to win, even when I know I've already lost. Just like that lady said. Why do I do that? Looking over at her, I realize this isn't the Kid I usually see. There's a faint, shy smile a faint, shy smile can be seen across her face. Suddenly, I feel something so powerful go through me, it feels like a wave of fire surging against my heart, through my heart. Why bring us here, Kid? Is it fate? Fate? Life? I don't even know anymore. But with Lynx, nothing's set in stone. But sometimes it feels like there's something inside me, guiding me. No matter what I do, it won't matter because I know it'll be showing me what to do next. What am I saying? Crazy talk, Kid says, smiling faintly. I don't know what to feel hearing this. Kids always put on a strong face no matter what, seemingly embracing terror when it comes. But right now I can't help but feel the weight of the situation bearing down on us. If you take these matters with a grain of salt, like Kid seems to, it's easy to live a day-to-day life like she does. As I look her in their face, that strange expression of hers relieves me. I'm sorry. All this talk, it ain't me, Kid says, scrunching her nose. Instantly returning to her serious gaze, she says, But thanks, Serge, Maggle. Thanks for coming here. Because of this, maybe down the road I'll have another chance. Huh? Nothing. Forget it. Kid says as she closes her eyes, smiling. As usual, she sends me into deep thought. While only barely visible, Maggle stands silently among the shadows, amidst the shadows, effortlessly balanced with closed eyes. As I look around at my companions, I wonder what awaits us. We share a calm silence in our hearts as we continue to descend far below ground. So I wanted to include that in this recording, because I realize I left that out of the previous recording, so I feel like that was a good scene, and I wanted y'all to get to see it. Suddenly, a metallic grinding sound can be heard from all around us. The room comes to a stop, swaying a bit. Guess this is our stop, Kid says with a hollow laugh. Ha ha! I stand motionless, staring at Kid and thinking about that weird laugh that Mo just did, and Maggle in the dim, flickering luminescence. And suddenly... Oh no! The organ comes to life! Looking back towards the monstrous thing, no one is even near it. It would be funny if Maggle was just there. He's like, I thought some mood music would break up the silence. Nevertheless, it continues to play its strange, twisted tune, the keys and pedals moving wildly on their own. Sounds like a funeral march. Just kidding. Bad joke, Kid. Alright, let's do this, Kid says, taking a deep breath as she heads for the door. I glance at Maggle, nodding my head, as we follow her out. That's a funeral march, all right. Lynx's, that is. Hopefully, yes, this time it will be his and not mine. Because I totally died last time. I just felt so guilty. I had no idea I was making her that upset. We start down the long, dark path in front of us. There it is. It's the same path in the rest of the castle. Somewhere further down this passageway. Oh wait, the air down here carries a thick stench of death. Somewhere further down this passageway, Lynx's subterranean hideout awaits. Kid's got a strange look on her face. I can't imagine what must be going through her head right now. Maggle, on the other hand, I can never read him. But still, we usually talk a little, lightening things up, but right now nobody's making a sound. So I'm going to bring my mic a little bit closer. Sorry. I try to offer some conversation, hoping to avoid the increasing tension. So, what really is this frozen flame thing? No response. Just as I start to think no one's going to answer, Maggle starts to speak, his low voice echoing throughout the stone corridor. It was said to be a gem which soothes all scars, granting eternal life to its owner. Or so people believed. The frozen flame is more than just an object. It's not of this world. It descended from the heavens long ago, part of a huge, meteorite. Once there lived a people who sought to harness its power, hoping to tap into their yet unknown potential. And so it became a treasure of great importance and dreams. However, whether a gift which bestows power is actually a blessing or a curse is another question altogether. Since the birth of humanity, at least one entire race has fallen because of it. These people once built a great, thriving metropolis with its power, but now all knowledge of this era has been completely lost within the sands of time. A faint feeling of distress comes across Maggle's voice throughout her speech. But then, how do you know about all this, I ask. Again, no answer. Keeping silent, I continue walking. Our footsteps once again become the only sound filling this dark path. Well, whether any of that's true or not, it'll all lead us to the same place. Say your prayers, Lynx. We're coming for you. That's all I know, and that's plenty. Frozen flame. What in the world could Lynx see in that mysterious rock? Flooded with thoughts, I pause for a moment to take a deep breath and calm myself. Continuing on a moment later, I feel as though I'm a bit more at peace. Suddenly, Maggle comes to a stop. Do not move. Huh? Ken and I look around suspiciously. Around us, bones are scattered in all directions. Many of them have been cut cleanly in half. Looking around more, amidst the dim light, I start to see that the walls have been splattered with blood. Then, suddenly, a trace of light catches my eye from behind. There's a bolt of electricity approaching us, sparkling like a lit fuse on the ground. Coming within a few feet of us, the spark splits off into two, forming a circle around us. Once the circle is complete, an odd glow starts to shine at our feet. Then, from where the sparks had traced, light shoots upwards, forming a wall of light all around us. It's a devil circle! We try to move, but we find ourselves caught within the rays of light. See? Those are the rays of light, presumably. Where are they? I mean, we're underlit, but I don't see the rays of light. With the scalding, noisy winds whirling all around us, all I see are rays of shimmering light in every direction I look. Not pictured here. What do I do? I can't see anything in all this light. Michael grabs me by the shoulder and returns me to the center of the circle. Thankfully, he seems to be able to see just fine. His mask probably has sunglasses back there. There's always a way out of a devil's circle. We must find the gaps to walk through. If you say so. Suddenly, Kid's elbow grazes against one of the walls. Sparks scatter in all directions. She instantly snaps her arm back, wincing in pain. Unable to see any gaps whatsoever, I hesitantly start to make my way towards the blinding wall of light. It's 3 right, 2 left, 2 right. That was also another thing. I thought that was randomized, but it was the same in this playthrough, so I guess it's just... I don't know if it's always that, but it seems like that's the case every time I've seen it. It's always 3 right, 2 left, 2 right. But we've seen this before. We've seen this before during the time when I died. Still such a bummer. I'm very sad about it. I'm especially sad because in the thumbnail I characterized Kid as Maria. And so I felt even worse. I was like, oh, I was like a douchebag to Maria too. I didn't mean to be. I thought we were bantering. I thought we were friends. I thought she wanted to read every book in the library. Nope. Not interested. Remember that, folks. Gentlemen out there, be kind to your lady, or she might let you get choked by a horrible monster. In a bad way, not in a good way. 2 to the right? Yeah, there we go. Uh-huh. Oh, something I'll point out, too. Because Ed was telling me about the other day when he was editing something. You can see the hexagram in the middle that comes up in Clash at Demon Head on the medallions of the governors. Apparently, that is an old symbol related to Solomon, and Solomon legendarily could command demons with the Seal of Solomon. And so that's why it shows up as a magic symbol everywhere. Apparently, it's also similarly related to the pentagram. Same general idea. They both came about as a reference to the same thing. So, interesting. Anyway, we made it. We made it to this fancy door. At last, Kid steps toward the mighty set of doors, letting out a sigh of relief. Beyond this door, the frozen flame. From behind his mask, Maggle's eyes let loose a cool radiance. Okay, let's go, Kid says eagerly, grasping the handle. Inside we go. Oh. This is a cool scene. Like, it's a really cool thing that you find a ruin of Zeal. I kind of wish they'd made it more recognizable as Zeal, though. You know, like they'd made it like, I don't know, the Queen's Throne, or the Mammon Machine, or like something really iconic from Zeal. That would have been better, I think. This cavern sprawls out to great lengths before our eyes. A forgotten world, hidden deep below ground. And, with a scarlet radiance, a single small gem shimmers in the darkness. The frozen flame. Finally, we're here! The jewel shimmers warmly, almost as if it's responding to Kid's voice. I guess she said that. Sorry. Taking a few steps into the moist cavern, Maggle whispers, Remarkable. Intact ruins of the lost magical kingdom. I think they also he could have said Zeal there, since we know what it's called. Unless it's not called Zeal in the Japanese version of the game, but... I mean, this is a translation. Just use the name Zeal. People who play Chrono Trigger will know what you're talking about. Just as I start to ask Maggle what he means, you know, not using the word Zeal, a taunting laugh can be heard from high above us. That's how Lynx laughs. Lynx! Kid immediately pulls her knife and hurls it through the air with all her might. And Lynx is like, and he swats it away, almost too quickly for me to see. Always the same. Such a savage little girl. Can't you at least give a gentleman an honest greeting? You bastard, Kid interrupts. And what have we here? the notorious Shadow Walker. I wouldn't be trying anything like last time if I were you. Beside me, I see Maggle come to a stop. I still don't know if this guy is supposed to be a cat or not. His face is so weird. And it's so, like, thin and narrow. Very strange. Like, look at the size of his shoulder. You know what he kind of looks like? If you've ever seen the anime Tenchi Muyo, the bad guy from the beginning of that kind of looks like he's got like a little thin head and gigantic shoulders. That's kind of what this guy reminds me of. Lord Lynx, Vipermanner's deadly owner. Shut up, Moe. Don't stop talking about tangents. The very same man who murdered Kid's sister, deceived Riddell's father, and eradicated the Acacia Dragoons. Welcome back, Kid. I see you have successfully taken the bait. Gluttonous as ever. What? Kid says hesitantly, taking a step back. Lynx stares down at her with those frighteningly piercing eyes of his. Not pictured here. You see, Kid, I brought you here because of the rock you carry. Which rock? Well, surely you remember. The one you received from your sister all those years ago. A priceless keepsake you carry with you dearly, even now. The Chrono Trigger. It's a great game. Everyone should play it. It's wonderful. One of the best. Yeah, how'd you know about that? I read Nintendo Power. What? Kid's gaze returns to a scowl. No matter. We're here for the frozen flame. You finished, you bastard. Ah, yes, toss your little threats around. But remember, no matter how many times you think you have won, I have generously demonstrated how gravely you are mistaken. And with that, Lynx unsheathes a beautiful golden saber not pictured. Previously, I've overlooked doing away with you, letting you scurry on with your pathetic little life. However, this time I may not be so generous. Kid takes another step back, glaring at Lynx as he approaches. So, this is something I didn't get in the stream, in the previous episode. I think he comes down from the rock he's on and gets closer to them. It's just not pictured. So, I don't think she actually jumps like 20 to 30 feet in the air to try and kick him, and then they have their amazing battle on that tiny little rock he's standing on. I think he comes down. Lynx, you murderer. I'll never forgive you for Luca. This ends here and now. And so Kid leaps into the air in a fit of rage, aiming a kick between Lynx's eyes. However, just as she reaches him, he swiftly dodges. Kid stands there, wondering how she could have missed. Beside her, Lynx laughs, taunting her. Jumping up once again, Kid lets loose a fierce kick. Skimming the top of his nose, her kick cuts through nothing but air. In a parry attack, Lynx sends his razor-sharp golden saber through the air. But Kid's already leapt back. The two face each other, only a few feet apart. Ah, if only you'd been a bit faster, Kid, Lynx says, smiling. All of a sudden, a line of red streaks across Kid's face. Kid? Wiping off the blood, Kid angrily rushes Lynx in a flash through the air. Effortlessly dodging, Lynx drives the sword into her back as soon as she lands. Kid bends back in alarming pain. Somehow staying on her feet, she stumbles back and readies herself to charge again. Stupid little brat. Lynx lands an elbow into Kid's shoulder, knocking her clear into the ground. I'm not reading this very well tonight, I'm sorry. I feel her pain from the pit of my stomach as I start to see blood trickling from her lips. What's wrong, little girl? Once again, Kid tries to lash out at Lynx, but he easily kicks her, sending her back into a pile of rubble. Lynx then looks upward. There's another thing I didn't get. He makes the rocks fall. I thought he just kind of like noticed it, but no, he's focusing his concentration, making rocks fall. Anyway, Lynx then looks upward, focusing his concentration on the ceiling. As I look up, I see a number of rocks have come dislodged from the cavern, tumbling down onto her. Kid! I call out as I rush over to her. However, just as soon as I start to, I see Maggle's already there. He streaked across the shadows, putting himself between Lynx and Kid. Saying nothing, Lynx shoots a thread of white light out of his fingertips. The thread-like substance entangles Maggle, binding his feet together. He hits the ground with a thud. In a dazzling radiance, a countless number of threads fly out from Lynx's fingertips. They immobilize Maggle completely, leaving only his head visible. How does that feel, Shadow Walker? Have you felt my web start to drain your life energy yet? Lynx says, smiling ominously. Grr! I still love the fact he's just like, grr! Kid, Maggle, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna stand up to you this time. You bring it on, boy. I look over at Lynx and fearlessly start running towards him. However, Lynx instantly sees me and takes a quick swing. Immediately dodging, the sword barely misses my shoulder. Shit! Just like Kid, he's unknowingly managed to slice into me. Young man, spare yourself and give up now. Look at my mustache! Do you think you can defeat this quad mustache? He strangles me with his long, disgusting fingers. They're so gross! Then he starts to lift me up by my neck, struggling for air. I painfully hang there, unable to tear myself free of his powerful grip. Look, kid. Look at your pathetic little companion suffering. You can make this all stop if you want. With blood dripping from her lips, Kid opens one of her eyes. Painfully gasping and coughing, she lifts her head up to us. She still wants to get up, but she's hurt far too badly. Serge! Hand over the chrono trigger, kid. You don't even have a Super Nintendo to play it on. I do because I'm rich. Little do you know, but that rock is actually a tiny condensed universe. When combined with a frozen flame, it gains the power to bend space-time, allowing its owner to reshape history. This all could have never happened if you merely wish it. Saying this, Lynx looks towards me, expressionless. And what about you, young man? Perhaps you know where the chrono trigger is, he asked, tightening his grip. Serge! What are you going to do, kid? Can you afford to let this little boy die without helping? How will it feel to have his blood on your hands? As Lynx's grip grasps tighter and tighter, I find myself starting to lose it. Lynx's face becomes a blur. I already couldn't really figure out what it was, but suddenly Kid's voice snaps me back into attention. I'm sorry, Serge. What should I do? Don't give it to him. Stand strong. Don't do it. My consciousness fading. I hope it'll get the bad ending again. Come on, good ending. Come on. Stop! The stone! Here! Yay! Lynx looks over to Kid. His eyes light up as his hands loosen around my neck. He totally, drops me, and he's like, I don't need this anymore. Abandoning me, Lynx rushes over to her side. Here it is, Lynx. Kid reaches into her pocket. Lynx draws closer. Despite being drained of nearly all strength, Kid manages to whip her knife out, fiercely slashing at Lynx. Yeah! Screaming viciously, Lynx falls back, cradling his mangled face. Blood starts to trickle down from between his fingers. You! Lynx staggers to his feet, keeping his right hand on the wound. I will have such fun killing you all. With as much power as she can muster, Kid kicks at Lynx, sweeping him off his feet. Ha! Spitting blood, Kid coughs a little, but still, a smile manages to come through her agony. Kid! I run over to her, still feeling the burning grip on my neck. Lynx turns to Kid, staring at her with his cold, evil gaze. Child, you shall beg for death soon enough. Every flavor of pain shall be yours. Prepare to join Luca. Hearing this, Kid's eyes slowly open and catch sight of Lynx. A red-hot gaze burns in her eyes. Slowly, she rises to her feet. A shimmering light suddenly spurts out of the frozen flame. Oh, and everybody disappears. At the same time, a golden light bursts out of Kid's chest. She fires her chest beam. Beep! Swirling around her, the light rises up, spreading outward in a glistening spiral. What is this? Lynx gasps. I don't know. Yellow. A yellow tint on the screen. Kid's voice calls out from deep within the shower of light. You will not win, Lynx! She trembles, her eyes flowing with red tears. Ow. That's from the blood, I guess. Ow. And then, a single voice can be heard. It's a deep, profound voice. The voice of undeniable honesty and truth.
Long ago, in a far-off kingdom, lived a girl. Because of her power, the kingdom had come to an end, crumbling under its own weight. Many became engulfed in the temporal vortex that was created, never to be heard from again.
That's the voice of profound honesty.
But not the girl. She lived on, enduring a much sadder fate. Running from her past and fearing her future, she wanted nothing more than to be swallowed up in the surging waves of the vortex of time. Hating what she'd done, refusing what she'd said or heard, to simply continue living was her curse.
Boy, the voice of profound honesty is killing my throat.
But the stone, it had other plans for her. Turning back the hands of her clock, scattering her memories, she was granted another chance. Since the precious stone was in her possession, she carried with her all its will and power.
There's so many questions I have about this. Does not make sense.
And so she was born into this era, returning to reality as a mere infant. This was referenced in Chrono Cross. And the new endings in Chrono Trigger, which were crap, by the way.
And with that, the fragments of the shattered Chrono Trigger fall to the ground softly. Oh, that's a shame. That thing would have gone for a lot on eBay. The cavern before us slowly starts to come apart, bending inward and outwards like a tear in reality, until we are completely removed from its existence. A single girl's voice resounds in the darkness. Please, this dark energy, make it stop. Okay. What the? And now we're here. A scene from Evo Search for Eden, I guess. Losing all sense of reality and presence, I become engulfed in this realm, drifting aimlessly through the ages. I guess that's what's happening here. The world flows, time dissolves, and people live and die. I can see it all within this mysterious ocean. Seriously, what's happening right now? The origin of time. Every one of life's tranquilities is here. Also, a lot of fish. A ton of fish. I can see myself as a baby crying at my mother's side where she gives a warm, proud grin. I can see myself as an old man, softly smiling, knowing that death will come soon. I'm super excited about death. Infinite versions of myself extend like ghosts throughout this endless corridor of time, not pictured. Everywhere I look, I see another life, another era. In this unfolded existence, I see countless lives and countless dreams. Is this what you expected the ending of this game to be like? Seriously? It's kind of weird, right? Resting in eternity. A kind voice calls out to me. What if Gaia from, like, Evo Search for Eden just showed up? A single song. Oh, we didn't actually get the reference to this in this playthrough. I'll explain that after the fact. This song has significance elsewhere in the game. Kid! Kid! I'll be here. Where? I'll be here waiting. Can you hear my voice? Kid! Renoa, go away! You're in the wrong place, Renoa. Go away. Answer me, kid, please. There's so many fish and a couple of dinosaurs. Also, like, 2 gardens and Earth and Mars and maybe Neptune? Who's calling my name? I'm entirely ruining the drama of this relatively dramatic sequence. But that's what Let's Plays are for, right? Serge, where is this? Kid? You're here! Yeah, I told you I'd be waiting here. The flower garden. That song. That beautiful song. It was Luca's favorite. So there are problems with this, too. There are problems with this. It doesn't make sense. I'll go ahead and explain it now. Okay, so there's another part in the game where you can open up a music box and it starts playing that song. And Serge mentions that he wrote that song because he used to travel around as a bard. However, it's also apparently the case that Serge is about Kid's age. If this song was Luca's favorite from when Kid was still a child, like let's say she was 8 when all this happened, that would mean that Serge had to have already established himself as a bard when Kid was 8 for it to be one of Luca's favorite. Moreover, it would have to be maybe a while before this song actually came about. It just doesn't make any sense. It's so nonsensical. Anyway, it was Luca's. Shut up! It was Luca's favorite. She traveled through time. It's fine. Kid softly smiles, closing her eyes. I can see she can't help but shed a few tears at this long-lost reminiscence. See, this song is actually something I composed in my earlier years back when I was a musician. Kid seems very fond of it. When? How old is Serge? Is he like 30? It doesn't make any sense. Why would that be the case? does not make sense. Anyway, you called out to me. Shut up, Mo. Don't ruin the scene any more than you already have. You called out to me, Serge. You called my name. Thank you. You won't leave me, will you? I'm here for you, kid. Me and all these fish. It all makes so much sense now. I know who I am, Serge. I know what I'm here for. Let's go back now, okay? I'm ready. And scene. We're back? Ugh. Oh, well, Lynx is still here. Lynx is like, I'm also here. I was with the fish. Lynx has pinned Kid to the ground. Yaha! You didn't expect me to come back with the fish? And now you see your death. What do I do? Square off with Lynx. I run over to Lynx, hoping to catch him off guard and ram him. What do you want, child? With a side blow, he strikes me down to the ground. Kid! I frantically try to make my way over to Kid. Lynx raises his saber ahead, ready to plunge it into us. I wouldn't do that if I were you. Quickly turning my head, I look in the direction of the voice. You? Yes, me. Who? Oh, it's the old lady. There, under a large hood, stands the old woman from before. So, Vera. Looks like Pora couldn't keep their hands out of this after all, says Lynx flatly. Good to see you again, Master Lynx. Seems you've seen better days. What with the whole cut across your face? The old lady. She's from Pora? The frozen flame. We will take custody of it now. It seems none of you can decide on who the rightful owner should be. The old lady gives a small signal, and dozens of armed troops rush out from behind her, securing the cavern. I will not forget this, Vera! Lynx shouts, floating up into the air, not pictured. Brimming with hatred, Lynx's glance turns to us. And you shall see death by my hand. Saying this, Lynx vanishes into thin air. The soldiers untie Maggle and start heading toward... He was tied up with, magic cord, right? How does that work? Start heading towards us. The old woman gazes down on us from under her hood. I believe you all ought to come with us. Looking up, I notice the armed soldiers have swarmed around us with their weapons ready. Seeing this, Maggle instantly waves his hands in the air, calling out some kind of incantation. Darkness envelop under my command! Darkness is red, apparently! Suddenly, all light in the cavern is put out. It's now or never. Quickly, Serge. I grab onto Maggle, who's holding Kid. Together we flee the cavern, vanishing into the darkness. Dee-doo-doo-doo. There we go. We escape from the castle, not pictured here. Led by Maggle, we make our way out of the mansion. Back in the forest, we see the search party's torches here and there hunting for us. Their militant barking, they're all dogs apparently, can be heard as they continue to get closer and closer to us. We stop behind a tree for a moment or two, catching our breath. I look down to Kid, who's taking quite a beating. What with being stabbed in the back at one point. Are you okay? Yeah, mate. I'm fine. It's just a little blood. A little, stabbed in the back. What do you think? How do you think I'm doing? Moron. We're completely... Yeah, that was kind of stupid. Does anyone know healing magic? I don't really know. I only have shadow magic. I'm sorry. We're completely surrounded, says capital S, Maggle. We must be on our way. Looking around, I suddenly see torches all around us, starting to close in. Kid suddenly lifts her head up. Go, Serge. Save yourself. A troop is only after Maggle and me. If they find you alone, they'll let you go. What are you talking about? I can't leave you now. Not like this. I told you I'd be fine, mate. But... Don't worry. I remember now, Serge. Who I used to be long ago, she says, staring up into the night sky. Seeing the reflection of 100,000 stars in her eyes are really big. I can't help but be taken in by that lonely, 1 in a million expression of hers. Kid, don't worry, I'm okay. I'll see you again, she says with a smile. Someday. I know I'll see you again, without a doubt. She softly closes her eyes. Lucas' Chrono Trigger was lost. We couldn't even get our hand on the frozen flame, but it's okay. It's all okay because tonight, in my heart, a shiny new treasure was born, Serge. The single most valuable, unstealable treasure in the entire world. Saying this, Kid stares at me firmly with those eyes of hers. Those bold, straight, honest eyes. Knowing who I am, it's bigger than all this. Bigger than Lynx, bigger than the frozen flame, and nothing could take that away. Not as long as I'm alive. At this moment, listening to her under the starry night sky, I find myself wanting nothing more than to be here with her right now. Staring into her eyes, I only wish time could stop right at this instant. Goodbye, Serge. Thank you. With that, Kid turns her back to me and disappears into the darkness. Kid, don't follow me. Please, don't follow me. Unable to control my feelings, I start to rush after her. However, a shadow abruptly blocks my path. It's Maggle. He slowly shakes his head, a sorrowful look in his eyes. With that, his shadowy figure draws back, dissolving into the darkness. Maggle? Kid! Kid! Kid. Why is the river made of marinara sauce? None of this is explained. So that was the good ending. Believe it or not. That was the good ending. And so, the curtain closes on another tale. However, another time, after the spotlight had faded from Kid, Maggle, and Riddell. And Serge, I guess. I don't know why Riddell was involved. In another place, and another time, a similar band of adventurers had come forth, equally unsuspecting of their other selves, and life went on as they strode out into the great unknown. But that's a story for another day. For now, I shall put down my pen. So that's the game's subtle way of telling you there are other endings. Which is kind of cool. It's neat that they do it that way. Side note, if you get the bad ending, you can't actually do the other endings. You have to get the good ending. As I softly close my grandfather's diary, I hear my mother's voice call to me downstairs. Didn't you hear me? Your friend is here! I turn around, already knowing who it is. My door opens quite energetically where I see a strangely nostalgic young girl barge in. Serge, we found some ruins at an old mansion up in the northern Kitsune Forest today. Come on, let's go exploring. So I'm Serge too? How many Serges are there? Multiple Serges! So the reason it's the good ending is this photograph. Ta-da! Look, it's Serge this time! Yeah, they met back up. I think that's the implication here, is that they did actually meet again. Because he mentions in the diary that they had many adventures since, so... Oh, I feel much more gratified having gotten the good ending. Did y'all enjoy it? It's a lot more it's a better ending than the bad ending, where you just die. You just mysteriously die. Yeah, it's I mean, I was, joking about it while we were doing it, but I really do think it's a good ending to this game. Like, this game is, I don't know if I mentioned it before or not, but Radical Dreamers was one of the first games that I wanted to Let's Play when I first started making videos online. Because, as I have mentioned in a previous episode, I was very frustrated with Chrono Cross. Because Chrono Cross felt very divorced from Chrono Trigger in many ways, except for the ways it wasn't, which were mostly to mess with its predecessor. And, I was disillusioned. And so when I found out that there was a Super Nintendo game that was the original sequel to Chrono Trigger, I became very invested in it. And there's something that feels kind of special about playing this, because if you didn't know, this game was I believe this game was a Satellaview game, meaning that it was originally released as a sort of time-limited availability. It was a game that you could only play for like a short amount of time. And so there's something very I guess, finite or not disposable. That's not the right word, but it feels special. It feels ephemeral, maybe, might be a good way to put it. It's a game that kind of feels like, like a piece of history that is in danger of being lost. Especially, like, all the more so since Chrono Cross uses takes a lot of influence from Radical Dreamers in its opening act. And actually, in my opinion, that's one of the best parts of Chrono Cross, is that first act, when it's all about basically what happens in Radical Dreamers, getting into Viper Manor and finding the Frozen Flame. And this game has basically become sort of disavowed, I think, in the Chrono Trigger storyline. It's not regarded as a central aspect of the story anymore, and that seems kind of a shame to me, because I do think that it's a pretty impressive game in its own right. Yeah, it's a text adventure, and yeah, it's simple, but I don't know, I really like it. So what I hope is that by my, doing a Let's Play and putting it online, it will hopefully allow people to enjoy this game that I found so fun. So again, I mostly recorded this to make up for yesterday. I did not expect it to actually be quite as long of a recording as it was, but I hope you've enjoyed it. And as I said before, we are going to go through the other endings. So we've seen the true version of Le Trésor interdit. I'm still very bad at speaking French. But the good news is now we can go on with the other 6 endings. So I hope you'll come back and join me for that. I am the MoeChicken. This is Radical Dreamers, and thanks for stopping by.